Welcome to the GameRamble video review for Legends of Talia, Arcadia, narrated by me, Darkcloud. As always, the full text version of this review can be found on the GameRamble website linked below. The TLDR for Legends of Talia Arcadia is that it's a short kinetic novel that sees a legendary female knight trying to deal with some demons from her past. The game features a thought-provoking storyline, and Arcadia is an interesting protagonist, but the whole experience is over in less than 2 hours, depending on your reading speed. This leaves very little room to flesh things out, so it feels like a lot of potential the game had was wasted. Nevertheless, the story is interesting while it lasts, and the game is affordably priced for what it offers. Gameplay receives a 6 out of 10. This is a kinetic novel, so the only interaction required is sitting back and reading the story. Graphics receives a 6 out of 10. The visuals look good, but the fan-service heavy character designs are at odds with a much darker storyline. Sound receives a 6 out of 10. The game features no voice acting or sound effects, but the soundtrack is decent. The overall score for Legends of Talia Arcadia is 6 out of 10. And now for the full review. Being a hero who is beloved by the people is not without its drawbacks, which is something that Arcadia, the protagonist of Legend of Talia Arcadia, discovers in this short kinetic novel. Talia is a legendary knight who has been involved in numerous battles since she was barely a teen. Some modifications to her body have made it easier for her to heal from physical wounds, but a life spent witnessing so much bloodshed has left her somewhat bitter and jaded. Arcadia also bears the burden of not always being able to save everyone, which is what happened when she visited the village of Freycross. After receiving the usual hero's welcome by the villagers, Arcadia slips away in the dead of the night to avoid having to deal with the more fawning fans in the morning. Unfortunately, a deadly horned dragon shows up and decimates the village, and Arcadia is unable to make it back in time to stop it. Legend of Talia Arcadia picks up 10 years after the dragon incident, with Arcadia travelling through a forest on her way back to her hometown. When she hears the cries of a young woman in distress, Arcadia rushes over to help her and ends up saving the girl from a monster. The grateful girl then invites Arcadia to her home, which is a small, easily overlooked village in Little Oak Forest. Arcadia reluctantly agrees, but instead of a hero's welcome, she finds the past catching up with her when she arrives in the village. Wingcloud is best known for its fan-service heavy Sakura series of visual novels, which makes Legends of Talia Arcadia a bit of an anomaly. While the game still contains more than its fair share of fan-service elements, there's no adult patch as with previous Wingcloud titles. In addition to being a lot more toned down, the game is also a lot darker than anything in the Sakura series. The story is told from Arcadia's point of view, and she frequently reminisces about the past. Having to fight as a warrior from a very young age has left her weary, and it's clear that she's had a tougher life than what her fans might imagine. The game is very short though, and to reveal anything more about the story would involve major spoilers. Suffice to say that Arcadia has to deal with the darker side of being seen as a hero, and receives a second chance at righting the wrongs of her past. The visual novels by Wingcloud are known for their beautiful artwork, and Legends of Talia Arcadia is no exception. Unfortunately, in this game the artwork is somewhat detrimental, as the cute character designs and bright colors are at odds with a much darker story. While detailed, there's not a lot of variety when it comes to the art either, and the game only features a handful of backgrounds and sprites. There are a few CGs as well, which features the two girls in the game in various dynamic poses. A gallery viewer is available to view these, but it just highlights how few CGs there are and how many times the same poses are reused with different backgrounds. The game does not feature any animations either, with only the facial expressions of characters changing to indicate their emotions. In an attempt to make things look a little less static, the on-screen position of character sprites move during conversations, but fast readers are more likely to find this distracting than dynamic. Legends of Talia Arcadia has a very short title and can be completed in less than an hour depending on your reading speed. Since it's a kinetic novel, there's no choices to be made or alternate routes through the game. Wingcloud has also opted not to feature any voice acting in the game, which is a pity. The game lacks any kind of meaningful side effects too, but the background music is at least very fitting. As is made with the Renpai, the game features the usual options such as being able to set the speed of text. Players can also save the game at any time, but considering how short it is, may as well complete it in one session. Overall, Legends of Talia Arcadia is an interesting kinetic novel which stands out for how different it is compared to other Wingcloud releases. Unfortunately, due to how short the game is, there's not a lot of room for character growth or meaningful interactions. Thankfully, players can experience the story without shelling out too much, as the game is priced a lot more affordable than the Sakura series titles. Those expecting a typical Wingcloud game featuring a fluffy storyline and tons of fan service will be disappointed in Legends of Talia Arcadia, while those expecting something more serious might be put off by the visuals. This is a pity, as the game had a lot of potential, and the premise of a famous heroine struggling with her place in the world could have benefited from a more in-depth story. Thank you for joining me for this Legends of Talia Arcadia PC review. Remember to like, subscribe and share. Until next time.